The rise of single men is a real issue in our society, and more men between the ages of 18 and 30 have never experienced a relationship with a woman. It's important to emphasize that most of them are average or below average men. This is not just a local phenomenon. Young men are truly going through difficult times in terms of relationships. The lack of relationship experience, along with numerous rejections and the absence of having their love reciprocated over a significant part of their lives, dramatically affect the self-esteem of these men. This often results in negative consequences in their love lives and social lives. The outcome of these experiences often creates a vicious cycle that is challenging to escape. I speak from personal experience, as I am an average Brazilian man living in a developing country and approaching my 30s. Although we may come from different cultures, I face these relationship dilemmas, much like many of you. Therefore, everything I'm sharing here is the result of extensive observation, self-awareness, and personal development. Number 1. Single men face, until nearly their 30s, is the development of a fear of entering into relationships and emotionally engaging. This fear often stems from numerous romantic disappointments throughout their lives. In cases where they have had the opportunity to date, their relationships may have been so poor that they developed a kind of trauma, making it challenging to deal with. I, personally, developed this trauma and feel that it has become an involuntary phobia, making it challenging to confront. Well, here are the 5 dilemmas of a man who has never experienced a relationship before or had traumatic love experiences. Number 1. Single men face until nearly their 30s is the development of a fear of entering into relationships and emotionally engaging. This fear often stems from numerous romantic disappointments throughout their lives. In cases where you have had the opportunity to date, their relationships may have been so poor that they developed a kind of trauma, making it challenging to deal with. I, personally, developed this trauma and feel that it has become an involuntary phobia, making it challenging to confront. Number 2. The fact of never having been in a relationship significantly affects your actions when you finally attempt to enter one. For example, women in general have an easier time in relationships, and many of them have had several relationships by the time they reach their 30s. Therefore, if you encounter a woman like this and have the opportunity to date her, it is certain that she will have high standards and will demand to be treated exceptionally and to meet various minimum requirements for a relationship. The problem is that those who have never dated lack practical experience in meeting these requirements, and they will make mistakes in the process. However, the dilemma is that this woman is unlikely to have the patience to wait for them to improve. Often, when this happens, the chances of her seeking someone better are high, resulting in short-lived relationships lasting only a few months. It becomes a vicious cycle because it is already challenging to find someone when you are a young man. And when you finally find someone interested, you not only have to battle your inner fears to open yourself to love, but also face the dilemma of not being enough for the partner in the relationship. And most of the time, she desires a more experienced partner who meets all the minimum, basic, and high standard requirements, which you cannot provide. Number 3 is a frustrating consequence of the second. When your relationships are brief, you realize that did not gain enough experience to learn from your mistakes and successes in previous relationships. In other words, women did not give you the chance to make errors and learn from them to act more effectively in future relationships. Number 4, you realize that it may take time to find another person of interest. During this period of solitude, which can last for months or even years, you observe their ex-partners moving on quickly, which is especially painful, especially when they were humiliated by them. They feel that life has been unfair to them. You feel that you are disposable to women, and it is quite painful. In this period of solitude that is turning into loneliness, you realize you are reverting to your previous single state, with the relationship trauma resurfacing. Without affection, you see yourself becoming those cold individuals again that you did not want to be, and you are once again reluctant to enter new relationships. In this state of mind, you realize that you will have to confront your deepest fears to allow love back into your life, but you do not know when it will happen, and I may cause anxiety issues. Number 5. In case if you have particularly been in a relationship with a toxic person and have learned something from it, even if it was a brief experience, their standards for what they desire in a woman will increase. They probably do not want to go through the same negative experiences as in their last relationship. The positive aspect of this is that you can now clearly define your minimum requirements that a woman needs to meet to be in a relationship with you. The negative side is that the more requirements you establish, the fewer women can meet them, which means excluding women with certain behaviors from your life. There are many other potential consequences of not having been in a relationship or having had traumatic experiences, such as submitting to anyone who enters your life because you have never been loved, humiliating yourself to please women in order to secure or maintain a relationship, failing to recognize or ignoring red flags in women. Men, if you are going through this, continue to develop and focus on yourselves, not just to please women, but to make your lives better and more fulfilling. Keep fighting to break free from these vicious cycles, and do not hesitate to seek professional help to overcome these traumas. If you can relate to these situations or would like to add something to this list, share your thoughts in the comments. Until the next video.